All right, everybody. Welcome back to Open Road. Today is a very special day because today is actually April 20th, and we all know what that means, but that's besides the point. Today's guest is someone who I met 24 hours ago, actually. She came here with Vixati. It's Vixati's sister, but her name is Zamayra Cantu. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great.
That's good.
We're going to get this out of the way right away. How did your name become your name? Like, where does that come from? I've never heard that before.
So my mom went to a graduation and she was looking through the graduation book where it lists all the students. And she saw a name. To this day, I haven't asked her what it was, but she saw a name that was pretty similar. And she basically reconstructed it to make Zamayra. And so when it came to when I was going to be born, I was supposed to be born on November 30th, which is my grandpa's birthday, and his name is Andres.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And
Good ass name. Yeah.
and my mom and my dad basically bet and said, hey, if she's born on the 30th, because my dad didn't want to name me Andrea. So if my mom and my dad said, if she's born on the 30th, we'll name her Andrea. If she's born on the 1st, December 1st, we'll name her Zamayra. And so I was born on the 1st.
You're a December baby.
Yeah.
What zodiac sign is that?
Sagittarius.
Oh, okay. All right. All right. For those viewers that are watching out there that are into that, want to know she's a Sagittarius, likes long walks on the beach and all that other good stuff. So you got a boyfriend or what?
No.
Well, wow.
Yeah.
I like the hesitation, right? Like, well, it's complicated, right?
Well, I just, you get out of a long relationship.
Oh,
just,
okay.
Yeah.
All right, yeah. Just I gotta ask because the viewers are they're gonna be all over me. Like, who's this, right? Like, who's this young lady you got there? So yeah, I know I get read a little bit. So I don't know if we could talk about this or not.
Mm-hmm.
Today is 420.
Mm-hmm.
Are you a believer in 420 or?
I mean, I approve of it.
Oh, damn.
Everyone can do what they want to do, makes them happy, what makes them feel good. I've had my fair share of, some 420s.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty good experiences.
Yeah, what's your poison?
It would have to be weed.
Mm.
Yeah. I'm not really an alcohol person. And I think it goes really into the fact that when you drink, you get to a point where you can no longer control, the way you walk, the way you speak, the way you act, or anything like that. And
Right.
when you, are under the influence of weed, you have more control, and there's no point where you're just going to black out and not know what happened.
Right. Plus, you're super calm on it, right?
Yeah. I mean, you're more happy.
So, as far as weed goes, are you a vapor? Are you straight plant? Are you gummies? What's your poison there?
I would say plant, flower, and gummies also.
Indica, sativa?
Sativa.
Oof. Why not? Why not indica?
Because all the experiences I've had with indica, it puts me to sleep. And I don't like that. I want to enjoy it. I want to experience it.
For those that are watching, so sativa is more of a head high, and indica is going to be more of a body high. And they do have hybrids, right? So, they mix them nowadays. It's really advanced. I think California has been really messing with that for a long time, right? Since they were the pioneers of it. So, a lot of good strands come from California. I'll tell you a story about my first experience with weed, actually. So I went to Colorado. I took just a day to go to Colorado, and all I wanted to do was go buy some, right? Go chill out or whatever. Yeah, I don't smoke weed like that. No, I'll take gummies now because I'm prescribed. It's good. I'd take a small dosage, but I don't think I'm a heavy weed smoker. I was fucking locked up, dude. But it was indica, right? So it was Scooby snacks or something like that.
Man.
Oh, it was hard. But yeah, I was throwing up. I was like, nah,
You had one of those trips.
I said, this shit
It happens to the best of us.
Oh, yeah. So you've been on some of those?
I haven't done anything.
Lately?
Yeah.
No, of course not.
No. I mean, I've had my fair share of bad trips.
That you've seen others go through, because it's not her, right?
I mean, a long time ago.
Yeah, you go.
Yeah.
Very
It's pretty intense. I mean, I think the first time it happened to me, and it really, really tripped me out, I was going to a music festival, and we had done it. It was years ago. We did it before, and we were in line, and all of a sudden I started to feel like dehydrated. Like, you start to see films of like blue and green, and then I started to feel like the hairs were sticking up on my scalp, and
all over your back. Just
no.
You turned into a werewolf.
No. And all of a sudden I felt extremely lightheaded, and that was the first time that it ever happened.
Damn.
And it was pretty scary. I mean, being in public, being around a lot of people, and not being home. I was out of state, and that's really, really scary.
I imagine probably like one of your first couple times.
I would say so.
Yeah,
I think, I mean, I did it fairly young, but I was never the type to do it a lot when I was younger. Like
social.
First starting, and then I think that was the time where it was actually a whole full session.
Yeah, no, it was scary.
And it just kept coming around.
And it turned me off a little bit from it. Like,
yeah.
And then I was like, there's some more research, and like, I got real bad sciatica on both legs. My back's a little weird.
Whose isn't?
Right. My neck, like my shoulder. Like I've had some injuries, along the years.
Man.
And I feel like that's the only thing that really takes that sciatic nerve pain, and it deletes it for me. So like, I guess maybe one could say, oh, he's high, he's feeling good. Like, I'm feeling good because I don't feel any pain. Like, I think if I didn't have that pain, I would feel like that just on the regular, right? Like, just good. And, it's the only way that, like, I get the relief for it, but I don't try to abuse it either, right? Like, because I think there's, like, a way to abuse it when you're just all day, every day, and you can't function, like anything, right?
Yeah.
So, like, everything with moderation is good.
Exactly. I was going to ask you about. I just had a brain fart.
It's all right. I just farted silently myself, but that's all different. But the viewers can't smell that, and I fart rose smells. It doesn't matter, right? So.
The sciatic pain that you experience, is it like doctors have told you like it's because of like a sciatic nerve?
You know what? No, I haven't been diagnosed.
And the reason I ask is because my mom just had surgery. Like, she had lower back surgery, and she had a lot of pain in her sciatic. And for the longest time, she was going to specialists, and they injected her on her hip and tried to put her steroids in there. And then she went to go see a back specialist because the pain was not going away. So she went to go see a back specialist, and that's when they told her, look, the cartilage that's in between your spine, it's wearing down. It's with age it happens. And so basically what happens is those bones start to kind of cause friction. They start to pinch on some nerves, and that's where the pain was coming from. So they had to put some plates in her back to separate those.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, vertebrae.
I guess one of the reasons I don't go, because like I don't go to doctors, right? Like it's just I couldn't tell the last time I went to a doctor. Probably, years. Like I just don't, right? So like maybe it's like a little fear of like, because I don't want nobody like getting back. Like I don't want to get back surgery, and then because I see my dad got it. Like he's okay. Like he functions, but he doesn't. He's like, I think he's in more pain now than he was then. But you know what? He can walk now, so it's like a trade-off for him.
Yeah.
And like my dad went through like a horrible depression with like not being able to work, not being able to really do stuff, and I could just see him just.
So that's hard, especially for that generation.
Yeah.
They're so used to it. Yeah.
And it took a lot of like talking to him, and like, because for him, he was like, well, I'm not worth anything anymore. I can't do nothing. I'm like, no, dude, like it doesn't work that way. Like you can't check out just yet, dude. Like you got grandkids, and but it was working with him, and we got him back. But I think, have you ever gone through some depression or anything like that?
I actually have not. I think I
Badass.
went. Yeah, I've been, and it actually runs in my family. My grandma deals with it. I think it's more of, you know, the experiences that you go through, and, you know, you have your highs, you have your lows. And I think I've done a pretty good job of, you know, distinguishing, okay, I am in a low right now, and I can't allow this low to overtake me, my mental health. Like, and so I think it's a lot of self-reflection, and I've done it for, you know,
Forever.
From a really young age. I mean, I went to college, my first 2 years of college, went out to university, and it was like, you know, that age, that moment where you don't really know what you want to do. And it was really frustrating, and it takes a toll on a lot of students, on a lot of kids. And it almost took a toll on me. And so it was more of like, you know, you got to regroup, you got to figure out what it is. You got to take yourself out of that situation, take a couple steps back, and kind of, you know, get your ducks in a row before you go.
Right. I think maybe the thing that helps you is like you recognize it right away.
Yeah.
And maybe once you recognize it, you accept it right away.
Yeah.
Like maybe you don't go through the denial phase for so long where like it starts really getting a hold of you. That's good. I like that.
Yeah.
That's smart.
Yeah. Things like that, like things that I just don't allow, you know, the universe works in mysterious ways.
You're my people.
Yeah. And so, you know, I've always been told from a very young age, you know, God's never going to close a door without opening up another one. And so that's always resonated with me. And anytime that I've, you know, approaching a very like low point, I remind myself of that, remind my mom telling me that. And I always know, like, you know, better things are coming. Like in life, you know, things get taken away,
right.
And it's always for a reason, whether you need to learn to appreciate, you know, be more in the present or whatever the case may be. But yeah, I think I've always been able to kind of distinguish.
So would you say you're religious or spiritual?
I'm more spiritual.
Right. There's a difference.
There's a huge difference.
Right.
I was raised Catholic. I was baptized, and then I had my first communion, and then we, you know, went to church, and then we just stopped going.
I think we all did.
I'm like, you know, you think about that, I'm like, why? What was the reason? And, you know, we just stopped going, and then I think I started to experience life. I started to get older, my teens, and I started to see a lot of things like life, and I started to question a lot. I think I started questioning a lot of things from a very young age, like my teens, where it's like, you know, where do we really come from? Like where, like things like that. And so I think that led me more into a route. I went down, like I attended like a non-denominational church, and I resonated more with me, you know, spiritual, motivational. And then now it's more, I think we were talking about it yesterday, you know, I learned that we all have God, like within ourselves, like we are our own God. And it's really what you do with it, like as you're a good person, you're a bad person, like what you portray, who you are. I think that really is the biggest factor in the trajectory of your life.
Right. So like spirituality. So it's so different from religion, right? Like, and I think like touching back on what you said about, you know, our parents took us there, we were kids, and then all of a sudden we stopped going, right? What I think happened, you know, this is maybe the way they were raised. And now we have so much information at our fingertips, right? Where like we can look something up. And as a matter of fact, before I like lose that thought, I'm going to have to come back. We forgot to put these things in the box. And I usually do that. Wow. Like we got.
You want to record it and then you snip it, you put it,
Nah, hell no. This is raw. We're filming everything, baby. So that's a good conversation though. So we fucking started rolling. Jesus. All right. I put mine on
airplane mode.
On airplane mode. That way people don't text me. I'm not a very important person, but it happens, you know. Like fucking.
It just so happens when you put your phone on airplane mode, it just gets blown up.
Right. But other than that, never. You know. Where was I? Carla, you remember?
Why we stopped going to church.
Oh, so why did we stop going to church? Thank you. That's why Carla's like number one, right? I think we just have information now, and like it's easier for us to question why is it this way? Like why is it not that way, right? Like, and then your parents, my parents, maybe after a while were like, maybe they had their questions, you know. Like,
I think they started to come to like their own realizations. Yeah, I mean if you think about it, it's a whole culture shift. I mean I'm a first generation immigrant. My parents migrated over here.
Right.
And it's a whole culture shift. And I think it took some for them to get used to. But I think by the point like I was born, I think they were like, all right, you know, it's time to question some things.
For sure. And I believe in God. I believe there's like something bigger, right? God, a creator. What's another word?
Universe. Right,
universe. Like people use it as a different term, but you know, I believe there's a God. I think for sure he must have been looking out for me more than just once, right? So like, and you could argue, well, no, or yes, or whatever, but I believe there is, and I guess the point where I was trying to get to is like, we're God-like. He created us in God's image, right? So like, you hold a lot of power inside, and I know people will revert back to like magic spells and brujeria, and like, I think that exists too, but I think if in your mind, your heart, and your soul, you're stronger, and you know you are, like, that shit just fucking bounces off, right?
Yeah.
Like, but you have to be prepared for that spiritual war that's happening. There's warfare in the spirit world, in my opinion.
Really?
Like, there's bad things that are trying to come upon you. Like, I mean, I don't know if it's demons. I don't know if it's spirits. I don't know if it's just...
No one really knows.
Ojo, right? Or whatever it could be, right? But, like, it's trying to get you, like... I mean, maybe it's our culture, right? That's the way we were raised. Yeah. Like, tráeme un pinche huevo. I'm gonna fuck...
Le hicieron ojo.
So, but I believe in it. Like, I really, really, really do think that's the case. Now...
Hey, that works.
I know it does.
It works.
It has to work. It's just, man, like, you gotta be real careful. And for those of you who are seeing me on this, pouring this glass today, this is a gift that I received from none other than my Janie that's working the camera back there. Would you like more water in your...
Sure, you can top me off.
So, awesome picture. I love it. Look at that.
Very nice.
Damn, that's good. So, yeah. Where was I, Janie? Keep losing my shit out here. Oh, we're in a spiritual warfare.
You got to tell me more about that one.
Yeah, I think you can be attacked that way. Like, I really do. And
yeah, it happens every day.
So, have you done anything to open your third eye?
No. I've thought about it. I think it's, I did a lot of research on it, like mushrooms. I think that's probably, if I ever were to do it, that's the only thing I would feel comfortable with doing. And I did a lot of research on it, and it was just, I've heard also a lot of stories, and you see a lot of things.
Right.
And to me, it's almost like, I don't know if I'm prepared to see that.
I think you are.
You think I am?
Oh, yeah. You could tell.
Oh, I'm kind of scared.
I'm fucking, like, pretty sure. With your research, I'm curious to know, did you find the guy, the mushroom guy, like, who pushed it? I think it was like in the 60s, 70s, 80s. I think it was 70s, 80s, and 90s that this guy was pushing the mushrooms. I don't know if you did your research.
No, I didn't look into that.
So there's a guy named Terrence McKenna, and he's already passed away. But like, if you go on YouTube and you start looking at some of his like videos, he was a big psilocybin mushroom guy. Like, this guy would like take heroic doses and like, and then he'd do DMT with with ayahuasca and smoking it. Like, really good guy, but his whole, I think, foundation was like mushrooms, dude. So like, that's where I started doing my research, and that's when I encountered the first couple of times I did mushrooms. Now, mushrooms are a trip. Those I highly recommend you have somebody that's okay, like normal,
like sober,
yeah. Like that's ready to watch you, and like, cause that thing, like, I promise you, like, it just boom pops it up. So like, when I go in these trips, right, like, I've never even told anybody about a mushroom trip, right? So
I have some questions.
Yeah, it's like almost like everything's a bubble. I'm in a bubble, and in order to get like if I'm talking to you, you have a bubble, I have a bubble, and then like if we're gonna connect, like that bubble kind of becomes
merges.
One, right? In that world, like, it was just weird, like, 'cause I could do that with my little brother, right? Like he would be talking, and then Like, boom, we'd be in the same bubble, according to like me or whatever. And
was he seeing the same thing?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, maybe not seeing it, but he felt it in a different way.
Oh, okay.
So, and you're not going to believe it, but we had like a 20-minute, no, I would say about a 15-minute conversation where I would talk and I would think he's answering me back. And he said he would never talking back to me.
You were like talking to yourself.
So I was talking to myself, but I would hear him so I could hear what he was thinking.
His thoughts.
Like, and I don't know how true that is, but I believe it 100% that it happened. Like we had that. He told me, it's like,
that's crazy.
And he's like, this can't be real. I was like, what you talking about? He's like, I haven't talked to you in like in the past 10 minutes or whatever. Like I haven't said a word, and you've carried a whole conversation, and we've been talking, but I haven't been talking out loud. I was like, but we had the conversation.
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, it's bullshit. You know, there's no way. And I mean, he swore up and down like that's what happened. And I was like, whoa, like, cause I was just laying down, you know, the room was dark.
Yeah.
It was crazy. Like, so I put like, for example, it's like I'm all right. Like, yeah. So my head was this way and his head was that way. And like, we're right next to each other and we're just fucking just banging out a conversation, like, bah, bah, like this and that. And like, he's like, yeah, no, badass. And then like all of a sudden, like, he said he stopped talking. I was like, why would you stop talking? Like, don't make no fucking sense. He's like, no, man. Like, I thought like, he thought he could communicate with me that way and he wanted to try it and it worked. Who knows, right? Like,
that's pretty cool.
I believe it.
Yeah. I mean, I believe anything. Right. Have you ever had any type of communication with anyone that's passed away? Like in any trip that you've had with ayahuasca or
I'm going to say yes.
Really?
So, but it's so much different. So when I did the ayahuasca, the first people that came to visit me were my grandma, my other grandma, and my grandpa. They're all dead. And they show up, and it's not like a physical form. Like to me, I knew they were there. Man, I can't explain like if I saw it or it was like just like three shadows that like overcame me. And like they gave me this like warm embrace, this nice hug. Because I was about to go on my trip. Like I was beginning the trip. And they're hugging me, and like my grandpa starts talking to me now. He's not talking to me in Spanish or English. It gets weird because we were talking with like frequency, vibrations, like the same thing, mind to mind, right? Like,
yeah.
And there was no language.
Like telepathically.
Right, but there was no language at all. It was vibration. And I could understand fully what he was telling me, and he could understand me. So like, he's like, what I gathered off of that, he's like, hey, like everything's fine. You're good. Like we're just here for you. You're about to go like, on your trip or whatever. He didn't say trip, but I mean, maybe he did, right? Because that's what I got out of it. He's like, you're good. Like, just wanted to come see you or whatever. And I was like, oh man, like I feel good. Like I didn't feel like scared or nothing. Yeah. And I was like, man, I'm ready.
Was this like the first time you
did?
Yeah,
this was my first time with ayahuasca. And then, boom, I fucking shoot off and I go do my thing, right? But like, yeah, I would say that is the only time I've talked to someone like that's dead. Now I've had visions of like them telling me something, which is totally different.
Yeah.
Because now I'm not talking to them. You know what I mean? And I know it's weird, like, but yeah, I mean, that's what how about you? I mean, do you pick up on any of that? Like,
I haven't.
Really?
I actually, I haven't. And my mom, she used to, I think she started like when she was 14 and she stopped. I mean, I was probably little because I remember being little and being in the home where I grew up in, and we would have like parties in the backyard. And I remember my mom like reading cards.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And I was like little and.
There's una brujita chiquita.
No, but I've never actually experienced anything myself. I think anything like the closest that I've experienced is sleep paralysis.
Oh,
and
man,
that's bad.
Scary stuff.
That's bad, and I've experienced it. What's weird is I experience it when I feel something in someone's house.
Oh,
like,
wow.
I think that's what kind of tells me, like, okay, I think
you better not be feeling nothing up in here, girl.
You need a limpieza. Like, no, but so the first time it happened, I was sleeping. I was living at my mom's, and I was sleeping in my room, and I think my brother was living there also. And I remember it was like a moment where you're dreaming, but you don't know you're dreaming because you're dreaming yourself. Like you're sleeping. Mm-hmm, and so I thought I was still awake. Mm-hmm, and all of a sudden I see like this face, like this demon face in my face, and I literally pull the covers over my head. And
in the dream.
That's, I don't know.
Right. So
it had to be in the dream.
Right. So I think the difference is this, like, you ever, and I hate to cut you off, but if I lose this train of thought, like, this is so good. So have you ever been in a dream within a dream like that?
Yes.
That's how my sleep paralysis kind of always gets started. Like when I'm like maybe a third level in.
Yes.
Because I can be in a dream and I wake up and I think I'm fully awake, but I'm in another world, right? And I'm fucking doing that.
You're like in NREM, like you're in. It's like lucid.
Yes.
Yeah.
And like, so I've gone to where I've gone 3 levels in. That's the furthest I've gone in a dream.
Yeah, no, it's happening. I have really vivid dreams.
So you see this demon.
Yes, I see this.
Sorry,
no, you're good. I see this demon in my face, and like I pull the covers over my head, and out of nowhere, I hear my brother's voice, and he's like kind of like knocking, like, and he's checking on me, like, "Hey, are you okay?"
Because you're screaming.
And in that moment, I thought my brother was trying to scare me, and we have like those Halloween masks, and I thought he was trying to scare me. And I was like under the covers, I'm like crying. So I woke up like crying, and I tell my brother, like, why did you do that? Like, why are you trying to scare me? And he's like, what? Like, what are you talking about? And then I'm like crying, and I'm like, no, go away. Like, and I still thought, like, I didn't even want to pull the covers down because I still thought he had it on. And so then he leaves, and I like leave the covers, and I fall back asleep. And I ask him the next day, and I'm like, hey, did you like try to fuck with me last night? And he's like, no, like that's why I just came, and I was hearing you. You were like kind of like screaming out in your dream. Like you're like, you know, you could hear you from the hallway, and I just knocked on the door, woke you up. And then that's when everything happened. And it was after that I told my mom, and my mom basically said like, oh no, we need to clean the house. So she called one of her friends. One of her friends came over, and I let her know like what happened. Immediately, like she's like a medium, so she came in, and she immediately like assessed the situation, and she like sat down at the kitchen table. Keep in mind, this was the first time she had ever gone to our house, and she sits at the kitchen table, and it was my mom, me, and her, and she can see out like to the living room, but she doesn't know what upstairs looks like, nothing. So I tell her what happened, and she's like listening, and she's asking questions. And it's just those weird questions where you're like, how'd you know? And so then she's like, the reason I ask, and she starts to go in, she's like, I feel 3 presences in this house. She's like, I think she said 4. There's 2 that are good and 2 that are bad. And she's like, look, I don't see them, like the 2 good causing any harm. And she went to the extreme of like describing them. And she said it's an older man. He's like short, you know, darker complected, and it's a little girl. And she's like, you know, short. She has like, she wears a white dress. She like, you know, to the T, white dress. And she has like, you know, ponytails, like long hair, but then has like 2 ponytails. And I've never seen her. And so she says, then there's 2 bad, and that most likely happened, like someone brought that energy into this house. Wow. Like bad energy, and it needs to go, because if it continues to be here, it's going to feed off of someone, and it's going to like make them depressed. It's going to like, you know, feed into them negatively.
Gotcha.
So she did a limpieza. She burned chile. She cleaned the whole house. And then I asked her at the end, I'm like, hey, like, you know, she tells us, hey, they crossed over, like, you know, those bads are gone, and you know, they crossed over, the good one crossed over, like 2 good ones. And I asked her if there was a possibility the little girl can come back, you know, they cross over, can she come back? And she said yes. She was like, she's young, she doesn't really know what the concept of crossing over is, and you know, moving on. So you know, she will come back, and there's a high possibility that she's going to be with you for the rest of your life. But she's
with
me, yeah.
Oh God.
So okay, let me backtrack. So we're sitting at the table, and she tells us about the little girl, and at this moment she doesn't really know who it is. Okay. All she knows is, she tells us, she's like, the little girl is protecting the person that sleeps in the room, she literally goes like this, the person that sleeps in the room, like straight there and upstairs. And my mom and I, like, we look around, we're like, and I look up and I'm like, that's my room. And I'm like, oh my gosh.
Right.
So then she basically tells us that this little girl, she's not a family member, and she's someone, it basically brought her, she got attached to me, and we brought her from somewhere else. And so then my mom starts chiming in, and I'm like, you could tell me these things,
right.
A while back.
Oh, shit.
But she tells, like, look, there was, some instances at the old house, where you grew up, where, we were all kind of shook as to what happened. She said there were 2 instances. The first one, there was the baby monitor. This was back in the day when you could still put your child in the middle of a bed to sleep. Mm-hmm. And they were eating at the dinner table, and all of a sudden they heard something on the baby monitor, but it didn't sound like it was like me or crying or anything. It was just off. Like, it was like a voice, like it was off. My dad gets up, runs to the room.
You're giving me chills, but
yeah, he runs to the room, and I was about to fall off the bed. Yeah. And so
they're protecting you.
That was the little girl. And then there was another instance. My brother and I were 3 years apart. And so
who's older?
Him. Okay, I'm the little one.
Baby? Gotcha.
My mom, it was at the old house, she was washing dishes, and where the kitchen was, there was like an opening where you could see the living room, but you couldn't really see like all the way to the ground. You could only just kind of see straight and then like the top of the couch. And she said that she had put me in my cuna, and that all of a sudden, like, I was on the couch, and she like blurts out, and she's like, Cesar Julio, like, I told you not to pick up the baby, because my brother was 3 when I was a baby. And so it was like, you have to be monitored. And my mom was like, Cesar Julio, like, she's like, I'm calling you, and nothing. And my mom like peeks around, and like my brother comes in, and my brother was playing outside.
Wow.
The entire time.
Wow. So she saw something too then.
Yeah.
Wow. Like.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's where everything kind of started piecing together. And then after my mom's friend had left, I remember I called my sister like immediately, like,
Vegas lady?
Dude, yes. I called her immediately, and I'm like, dude, guess what? Yeah. And I'm like telling her everything. And I remember specifically my sister was cleaning a closet under her stairs, and she has, I'm FaceTiming her, and she has the phone up at the top, and she's like doing something, and she's facing this way. So I'm seeing like the side of her, and I'm telling her, and I'm like, this little girl, and this is what she looks like. And as soon as I start describing her, my sister like looks up, and she like leans up against the wall. And I'm like, what? Like, what? Tell me. And she's like, I've seen that girl. But
that's the one she's told me about.
She's like, I've seen that girl, but she saw her at the newer house, like where we moved in like 2004. And I remember that occasion when she had seen her. And she says that she had walked by like our game room, and I was in the restroom, and she walked by the game room, and she kind of like looks and like looks again, and she sees like in the corner, she sees like the back of like a little girl with long hair and a white dress.
Was her hair red? Mm-mm. Blonde?
No, it was like.
I got a story for you after this.
Oh, okay.
Anyways.
And then in that moment, she tells me, she's like, and it all clicked. And I'm like, I remember, because I remember she came into the restroom, and she's like, but in that moment, I think we had a tia that had passed away. And so she thought like, oh, it's her. And I remember when she came into the restroom, and she's like, I just saw a little girl. And I'm like, what? Like, straightening my hair like little. I'm like, what?
Stop saying this
shit. But that's the crazy stuff that's happened. And then it's happened again, the sleep paralysis. And I think the only other time it's happened again with the face, it's only happened one other time. And then in between, it was, I think, that dream within a dream. It was crazy. I felt awake.
Wow.
I thought I was awake. And I remember that I heard someone was calling my name. And I'm like laying there like in the bed, and I've heard someone calling my name, and I'm like reaching like, hey, like, you know, like I hear you, like I'm trying to respond to them, and I'm like I can, and then I wake up and I'm like, and I couldn't breathe. Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah, it's like so real.
It's so real.
So we used to live on Evans in the Southeast, and I think on one of the older podcasts I was having a conversation, I think it was with my mom, about how the house was kind of weird and all that. So that's where my whole journey where seeing this little girl started too, because I see a little girl. And like the first time that it happened, I think my dad was, I don't know where the hell my dad was. It was like a Friday night, whatever. He's drinking. He was gone. My older brother, he was out. And I'm probably like 13. No, probably like 12. I was like 12 years old. So my brother was already like 15, 16. He's doing his thing, right? So it's me, my mom, and my fucking little brother. And I remember we're playing video games in the living room. And then all of a sudden, I hear it. Like, I hear a voice. It's like a little girl's voice. And she's like calling for somebody. And I was like, well, it's not my name, but.
What was she calling?
I don't remember. I don't remember the name.
Dang.
And like, so I peek out the blinds. And I'm like, I see her. And I was like, dude. I'm like, come here. And so like my little brother gets up, he's looking too. I was like,
like out in the street?
Yeah. So it's on the street. Like, so we had a long driveway. Like, man, you could probably fit like, let's say 8 or 9 cars like in a row to finally reach the street, like for where the house was, right? So like we're peeking, and I'm like, do you see what I'm seeing? Like, yeah, she's like in white, small thing, and she wasn't walking. Like this thing would float. And I was like, damn it. And I was like, you see this? Yeah, I see it. So she gets closer. I mean, she makes it all the way through the driveway, right?
Dude.
And then like...
And y'all are like just watching.
Right. So, for example, this is the house right here, right? And like this thing's coming from the street. And like after a while, we can't see it from this window no more. And it's getting to right here. We lose her. So we run to the other window, like on this side. And now we could never see her again.
So she like, it was that...
I don't know what happened. And then it starts getting weird because... It's like that little girl has been following me like my entire life. And like the most recent events, well, I'll go back to a little bit before recent. When I used to live at the other house when I was married or whatever, I would see a little girl. And I would tell my wife at the time, like, hey, like one time she came to drop me off lunch. I remember I was working somewhere, like, hey, bring me lunch, please, whatever, blah, blah. I see the car pull in and whatever. And like, no shit, I see a little girl riding shotgun with her. Like, I see it. And I was like, okay, well, it's Lexi, right? You know, her older daughter, right? Like, she looked a little bit old. Like, it could be her. Like, I couldn't tell. Like, and then, like, she pulls up. She rolls down the passenger window, like, to give me, like, my food was sitting on the seat. I said, who was in the front seat? She's like, nobody. I said, roll down all the windows for me. She's like, what? I was like, unlock your car. And, like, I fucking checked the back. It's like, I checked everybody. Like, there's somebody in here.
I'm not crazy.
Right. I'm not fucking crazy. She's like, what is wrong with you? And I was like, I saw, like, a little girl in this car. And she's like, no. I was like, Lexi's not in here? Like, she's like, no. I was like, oh, damn.
Dang.
So then it started to, like, recently, like, I saw her at my mom's. And I think sometimes here I'll get a glimpse of her. Like, but it doesn't scare me. Like,
so at what age, like, how old were you guys when?
I was
12.
12. Like, but she could have been there before, right? I mean, this is when I first really noticed something, right?
Did you ever look into the history
of the house? Supposedly it was owned by, like, biker guys, like a gang of bikers. Like, but this thing was built, like, in the 40s, like 1946.
That's what I'm saying. I feel like buildings hold so
for sure,
much history.
I think so. Like, I don't know if, like, the energy stays or I don't know.
I mean,
it's possible, right?
It's like that. I forget what it's called, but it's like the train tracks and where the
in San Antonio.
Yeah, where
I've heard of that.
You put like baby powder and the like little hands.
I've always wanted to go, but I've never been.
I'd faint.
Actually, I should make a YouTube video on that.
Yeah, like vlogging.
Yeah,
that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, you down to go? Scared? Midnight?
Oh, I don't know about midnight. We can go to crack it down.
I've been through enough scary shit. I mean, midnight would be like, oh, we get some people together. Janie, you down? Hell yeah, I'm sure there'd be some people down for that.
That'd be a trip.
Like, so speaking of midnight, I was in high school, and there used to be an insane asylum right there, like I want to say Houston Avenue and right by Memorial, Houston Avenue, like in that area. And we learned about it in high school, like me and like my good friends and like people, right? Like so we must have been about 8 of us, and we go into this insane asylum, and like I mean we're drunk.
Y'all go in?
Yeah, we went in. So you hop the fence. Like we all hopped the fence, like, and we had like 3 girls with us. It was like 4 dudes, 3 girls, right? Like the same people that we hung out with. That was some scary shit.
I'm sure.
Because like, I guess like in some part was a morgue, and other parts, I guess, I don't know if they like incinerated people there or something. Like, and it's an insane asylum. I don't know if they do that, but like they had these, or that's at least what one of the guys said, right? So like, I'm believing everything. Like maybe it's real, right? So like,
I mean, maybe
I wouldn't
back in
doubt
the
it.
day, they
Maybe
like burn.
Yeah, they must have burned these like people that had issues, or who knows, or they passed away and nobody came to claim them. Let's burn them, get rid of them. Yeah, it was weird, dude. Like, it was creepy inside, and like, it was a huge building. Like, I don't know.
Did it still have like was it completely empty?
It was like completely empty, but like, I mean, we had to have flashlights. We had everything, right? Because like, there's no power. We're in there like it's midnight. Like this is the like great idea I had. Well, I didn't have. I may have come up with that. I can't remember now.
Oh my
and we're in there with flashlights, and then all these flashlights start going. This is before the iPhones, right? Like, so we don't have that little. And like people were screaming because like we got separated at one point, and like one of my homeboys ended up like in the morgue place of it, and he lost his shit. Like,
what did he say?
He was just. He had his eyes closed and just screaming and screaming and screaming and screaming. I don't know if we went in there and got him. I don't know if he crawled out and we met him. I don't remember. Like it was a blur.
You guys only went there once.
Once.
You said never again.
Man. Like people were terrified of that thing, and like I was so terrified I don't remember most things. Like we all had to come back together. Like what did you see? What did you feel? You know how you do that? Like oh man, I felt this. Like, and I thought it was somebody. And then I turned around, it was nobody, and they couldn't see. And like somehow all our flashlights went like dead, and like I mean everything. And like I don't even think we carried cell phones then. Like you would just leave your cell phone in the car, right? Like like it wasn't like
it had best quality
camera.
Right.
Like you have a Nokia 3390. You don't. It's a fucking brick. You're not walking around with that thing unless like you really expect to be called. So like back then we would just leave it in the car. Like I'm gonna go party. Like I'm partying with my friends. Like if I need to call my mom or whatever, I'll call her right now. Like it was just different. And that was my little man. That was wild, dude.
That's crazy. That takes some guts.
I don't know. I think we're just dumb. Like
you're young.
Like I'm 38 now. If I don't have the guts to do that. Like
no.
And I'm not an idiot enough to do that again. Like that's bad. Not the train tracks. That's out in the open. I'm in a car, right? Like
I can just hit the gas, take off.
But if I fucking go into an insane asylum, just me like, hey YouTube, like.
Oh my god, it would be like the most streamed.
No, people would be like, "You're an idiot. Get out of there!" Like
commenting.
Yeah. Like get out! I see
it's
shit.
A death wish.
Oh no, man! I couldn't do it nowadays. Like, you know what? I haven't seen a scary movie.
I don't like scary movies.
I mean, either. I haven't seen one in probably since like I was out of high school. I'll see Michael Myers movies. That's it, because I'm a big fan of Michael Myers and like the like saga or whatever. But I still haven't even seen the last Halloween movie like that came out recently. Like I just stopped watching it because it's not so much that I'm scared of watching it. It's what can like in my dreams.
Let me tell you. That's why I don't watch scary movies. I watch
because we have sleep paralysis and we know what it can do. And don't let that fucking thought creep into you now, because then guess what?
Scary.
I can't hide in my dreams.
Yeah, no, it's out in the open.
Yeah.
It's like every man for himself.
Yeah, exactly. There's no one to help you in that dream.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I never even thought of it that way. Like you're in it by your fucking self.
Yeah, and you may know people, but can they really help you?
And you trust it, and they can't, right?
Yeah.
Every dream, like now that I think about it, every dream that I go back there, I need help on something, and I ask somebody for help or I look for help, nobody helps you.
Yeah.
Like it's your mind. Your mind's a motherfucker, right? So you're like, that's what dreams are. Like that's why they're nightmares.
That's your subconscious.
That's why they're nightmares.
Yeah. That's crazy. No. The times that I've seen scary movies, those dreams are
Oh yeah.
crazy.
I don't fuck with it either. I don't like it. I don't like it. Now, I mean, I'll go into a theater and watch the latest Michael Myers movie because it's like a tradition in my family. But I don't watch that shit. Like,
I don't do haunted houses.
Really? Like the ones you walk around in?
Yeah, no.
Or like the actual haunted houses that have historical stuff? That's a different deal.
No,
right?
I feel like that would be a little bit cooler than going into a haunted house where people just scare you.
Yeah, that's
just like get your blood pressure up. Like, for what?
It's fucking retarded, right?
Yeah. I remember one time in high school, I took a trip to California with my team.
That was your first mistake.
Right. And we go to Universal, and the movie Haunted House. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's like Eddie Murphy. Like, that's not even supposed to be scary.
Right.
And I remember we got to Universal. We were all super excited. We're like, yeah, every ride. Not thinking like they got a damn haunted house on this property. So I was thinking it was a roller coaster, and we're waiting in line, and you get to the front and you're about to go in, and you see like the rules. And I like I'm like, all right, like looking at the rules, and then I see like someone going like this, and I was like, is this a haunted? And then they're already like pulling you in, and I'm like, wait, no, and like it was like a whole team. I kid you not, I crawled my way through that haunted house. I got out, but I crawled, and I probably hid behind someone the entire time.
So like, does it make you scared, or you just don't like the idea?
I think I don't like that.
The initial,
yeah. I'll like throw a punch,
like the suspense, but because what's it called when te asustan? El susto, right? Yeah. Like, I'm not saying in English.
And then like mixed with the adrenaline,
right?
Like you not knowing when it's coming, and then
bad combo.
Ooh, I'll faint.
Yeah. I don't like the feeling either. Like I don't like haunted houses because those guys get physical, man.
Like if you're sometimes they like chase after you.
Yeah, and they'll try to hurt you. And I'm like, dude, I will fucking, man, we're gonna have some problems with this haunted house. Like, I don't do that, right? Like no, so I don't. And then, no, not doing haunted houses, but I like going to the ones that have like the history behind them, like
the Alamo. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, we did one in Fredericksburg.
Oh, cool.
With Carla and a whole bunch of us. I can't remember what it was, but I could feel stuff, but I didn't see anything. Like, I'm not a big seer.
Yeah, I can't.
I can feel and sense some things, but I'm not a big seer. Like, unless like I'm on mushrooms or like
you just wide open.
I can see anything then, but no, like I don't. I guess I'm just the type that just like senses stuff going on. And I'm glad that I'm not a seer.
Yeah, I think that would drive me crazy.
Yeah, if you could see it.
Yeah, if I could
dream
see
it.
Yeah. I mean, I already dream it.
Right.
So if I actually saw it in like your wake life,
you'd fucking die. I'm the same way. Like, I'm so fortunate that I don't see it. I may feel it, get an idea. Like, maybe if I concentrate enough, I can see things in my mind. Mm-hmm. But it's not like I'm seeing it here, right? So like, it's different because that's like my biggest. You want to know what my worst nightmare is?
What is it?
It's a repeated one. It happens all the time.
I have one.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So I'll tell you mine. It's always the same. Like, I'm underwater.
Oh.
And I can't. I'm holding my breath, and I just.
And you feel it.
And then it's like I let go. I'm like, I'm underwater, and then I'm like, fuck, I'm in a dream, and like I don't get out, and then like the sleep paralysis thing starts happening a little bit, right? Like, and then like just the dream starts getting fucked up, like, and I know it, like in my head, because I know I'm dreaming now, and like I'm like, fuck, okay, evil thoughts, bad thoughts, like bad places, and then I'm the good places, you know?
Yeah.
Like I can't make it like do what it does.
Yeah, you start talking like pep talking yourself in there, like, no, we're not gonna think about that.
No, you're at a fucking candy shop, dude. You're at a candy store. And so yeah, it's usually like that. But after a while, when those would happen, I learned to control it a little bit. And like, so now it's no longer that. Like, it's not the nightmare anymore. It's like it's telling me, dude, like you can go explore this dream world. Once you find out you're not fucking dreaming, like you're actual dreaming. I mean, so like when I take that breath underwater and I can breathe, I'm like, oh, it's a dream. Here we go. And like, boom, I start doing whatever I want to do. Like, it's weird.
What do you do now? Like, now that you know?
So it's only happened about maybe 2 or 3 times. Like, now that I've controlled it, like, and this dream might take me 7-8 months for it to come. And I'm like, when it comes, like, I'm ready for it now, right? And then like one of the things I did, I started flying. And I flew all over the United States. Like, I mean, I was a flyer. Like, shot down the Grand Canyon. When I'm telling you, like, I shot down the Grand Canyon, like, I was seeing it like it was real, right? Like, and I'm just like, whoa, I'm flying, right? Like, I'm like, damn.
That's
like,
cool.
It was scary because when I first attempted to fly, I woke up. And then that was what I was trying to do for a while till I got the dream and I was able to fucking complete it. And then the other ones, I don't know. I guess I haven't gotten to the other things that I'm going to do yet, right? Like I haven't had that dream happen to me again to where I can go on to the next, like, what else am I going to do? So, like, I remember the first dream that happened like that where I was able to control a little bit. I went and flew and, like, I woke up right away. And then the second time, like, I was like, I went a little bit longer and I woke up because I got scared. And then on the third one, I guess I just got to, like, see it all. And then since then,
crazy.
I haven't had that reoccurring dream. That may be it for me. I don't know.
Maybe because you conquered it. Like
maybe it's one of
like your subconscious. Like, all right, we're gonna move on.
Damn, dude, that's deep.
Yeah,
but that's
we're
true.
gonna move on to something else. We're gonna fuck it up a little bit. Yeah. Something else.
Pretty much. So, what's your dream then?
I've had it twice, and I think I had it when I was little, and then I had it again as like my teens. Basically, I'm in this house. And it's like a completely like white house. There's like a bed, but there's no decorations. It's like white. There's no sheets. There's a closet. There's no clothes. There's nothing. There's like these kind of like linen curtains, but they're white. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden, like I look out of the window. And it's kind of like a Sahara, like a desert. Okay, like you could see like the long grass. And I see my parents and they get killed right in front of me.
Oh, man.
And then I
like how? Like how do
they get shot?
Oh, okay, shot. Okay.
And I'm looking like literally like execution style.
Oh, wow.
And I'm looking and all of it, I'm like, what? And then they like focus their attention on me. And I'm like, oh shit, like and then like I'm like trying to like find a hiding. Oh, there's nothing in there. There's no like pillows. Like I'm a little girl in the dream. Okay. Yeah, and I'm like trying to hide, and then there's these animals that just come out and they start talking to me, and they're just like talking to me, and I can never fully remember what it is that they tell me, but it's almost like they send me in like a peaceful state to where I'm no longer scared. And then I hide in between like the headboard and like the mattress. Mm-hmm. Well, I attempt to hide. And then they come in and I wake up.
Wow. So I believe dreams tell you stuff, right?
Mm-hmm. Me too.
Maybe what I'm picking up here, there's a childhood trauma of yours maybe like at that age. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I'm talking about? Do you like have one?
In regard.
And sometimes these things happen to you and it stays in your subconscious mind. You don't even fucking, like it never comes. So this is where psychedelics, ayahuasca.
Oh, they open, like they reveal.
That's the revealing part. So we all have, most of us have childhood traumas one way or the other.
Right.
And I asked you this because it kind of just goes into like your dream, right? Like, like I conquered mine, but now I know why. Like I didn't conquer this last like flight till after my trip with the ayahuasca. Like you just kind of like opened that up for me right now with like the conversation. Like, like I just made that connection. Like, whoa, that's what it was.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying go do the ayahuasca, but
no, I'm good right now.
And you know, I'm a big believer of it, but that might be it, dude. Like maybe it's like your subconscious mind, like reminding you, like, hey, dude, there's still work that needs to be done here.
Yeah.
Like, come fix this so we can move forward. And then maybe you go do that. Maybe you go fix whatever's really bothering you as a child. And I'm not saying you don't have to have like major stuff to you. It doesn't work that way. So, a childhood trauma could be, I don't know, you know, Santa Claus for some people was a big deal.
Yeah.
And they find out that Santa Claus may or may not be real because I still believe he is. But some people like, oh, he doesn't exist anymore. And that could be their trauma. Like, fuck, my parents lied to me. Fuck them. You know, this and this and this and that. Like, I don't know why they shape themselves that way. Like, I still believe in Santa. He exists. I'm sure you do as well, no?
I don't know. I don't think so. I've seen way too many people dress up as Santa for me to know which one's the real one.
I still leave out like cookies and milk for Christmas here. I mean, I still have Christmas trees hanging on my wall.
You know, you get munchies and you go out and eat them in the middle of the night.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. It ain't Santa, I'm the Santa.
And these little girls wake up like, oh, look, you ate all the cookies.
Not only did he know that, he also made this and that in a Hot Pocket. You know?
He left all his trail.
Yeah. That's crazy. Fuck. Man, where was I?
You're talking childhood trauma.
Right. So childhood traumas, right? Like, I think those are a thing. And I think maybe that's where you're headed to. Like, and I'm not saying you're not on your spiritual journey yet. I'm not saying that.
Yeah.
But some people can be on that journey for so long, but they never make that, like, jump that hurdle to go into, like, a deeper level.
Phase.
Right.
Yeah.
So maybe that's what it's going to take for you. Like, maybe you could be on a spiritual journey for so long, but sometimes you know how you plateau?
Yeah.
I think it happens spiritually as well, where you plateau and they're like, man, like, have I seen everything that I needed to see in spirituality? Like, have I read everything? Have I researched everything? Yeah. And then, like, the ayahuasca happened to me. I'm like, oh, wow, like, I can go up a different level. And, like, so I did it. I tried it, and it was wild. Like,
that's really cool.
Highly recommend it. I went to a different dimension, but that's a whole different deal, right? Like,
have you tried peyote?
Yes.
How was that?
Peyote's different.
How?
So peyote's a masculine plant.
Mm-hmm.
So it's more strict. It's the father. It's like locks you in. Like, you're held accountable. Like, you're not dozing off and you need to be up straight. Like, you're hearing the drum, right? Like, you're just boom, 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 boom. Like, it's intense, right? As we're in ayahuasca, it's a feminine plant. So
it's more like
nurturing, caring, loves you, holds you, lets you be a slouch a little bit. Like, oh, yeah, it's okay, baby. I got you.
Oh, like a little pat.
Right.
Like, you're going to be okay.
So to me, peyote was just a very strong experience. And the way I did it, I was in Huntsville. I went to Huntsville to do it. Huntsville, Texas.
Oh, wow.
And it was invite only. And I knew a guy who got invited, and he was allowed to, like, invite a few other guys. So I went. It was me, him, and another guy. I used to work with these people. And we go to this thing. And it's going to sound crazy, but so anyways, we go in there, and there's a teepee. Like, these are real Indians from San Luis. And they got the fire going in the middle, and like, hey, you know, welcome. And it's like 7 p.m. and this thing's going to go all night till the morning. And
how long does it last?
So from like 8 p.m. to like sunlight. Like, you're going to go out and see the sunrise. Like, it's a whole thing. Dang. You don't sleep at all. You're like, it's intense, dude. Like, so, you know, I did all that with the peyote and, like, good experience. Peyote's not for me. Won't I do it again?
Did you see, like, anything?
Not the way I did in ayahuasca. Like, for me, peyote was more.
Was it more like a negative?
No, not negative. Maybe a little negative, because there was a guy there that was like, I guess he was training to be one of these Indian people, but he wasn't. Like, it was just some random dude.
So he's throwing off the vibe.
Right. And like, because I got bad, like, back problems, and I did something where I was stretching my leg for a little bit, and, like, homeboy comes and kicks my fucking leg to tell me to, you know, like.
Oh, you're like, testosterone was like through the roof.
I'm about to whoop this dude's ass. And, like, I look at, like, the people I'm with, and, like, like, he's all like, you know, like, we got you. You want to do something, do it. And I was like, nah, I'm going to chill. Because, like, then I'd have to fight, like, another 15 Indians and, like.
Oh, man.
Yeah, like, but this guy wasn't an Indian. Like, this guy was not a Native American. Sorry, bad word. Not, like, a Native American guy. Yes. And, like, it just pissed me off so much. So I think that's why, and then I had to try to get that out of my mind, blah, 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 get back in the rhythm, get back to the drum, you know, like, and, like, after a while, I was like, man, like, that guy pissed me off. And, like, you know.
He ruined it for you.
He ruined it, yeah. He ruined the experience for me. Maybe if I do it again, I'll think differently, but my first ayahuasca experience was so good. Like, dude, just from what I'm like, I don't know you besides what we've talked on this podcast. That's fucking crazy. But you got to do it, dude. Like if you're into that, and I think you're ready for it. not everybody is. It's not for everybody. Like all my cousins, are like, they think I'm weird and crazy. I don't see where, right? Like I'm a fucking normal dude, right?
Yeah, you seem pretty normal to me.
See, there you go.
Un poco chisqueado.
Right. Tres tornillos, right?
Yeah,
It's fine.
so few screws.
Highly recommend it, dude. Like I don't think you go wrong, really. Like I think it'll fix more than it'll do anything bad to you. You know.
Dang.
Something to think about. Something to think about.
To take home with me.
Yeah. So what are you changing a little bit? Because now we went like deep into like spirits and demons and shit, you know. So what's going on with you like presently, currently? What you got going on? Like what's your life like?
Man.
Like, tell me something because I don't know anything about you, right?
Man. So as of recently, I was working, well, for the past 2 years, I was working for a company, really great company. I had a lot of high expectations, visions. It was great. And
Life.
yeah, it was life. Life just shit.
I'm good,
the
man.
fan.
This is why I'm the host at Open Road. You know what I mean?
So I, just to put the timeline, I needed to go out to corporate to go train someone new on my team. Mm-hmm. So I went out there the last week of February, and I landed like Monday night, and Tuesday I went into the office. I met the new girl. Everything was normal. And then that night we went out, we had some drinks and came back, and the next morning I'm getting ready to go back into the office because I was supposed to be there until like Friday. I'm getting ready, and I get a call from my boss who was going to pick me up on the way to the office. And she's like, hey, so another person who was working at the office had gotten there first and noticed like there was a lot of cops surrounding the building. And so she basically, that's all she knew. And she calls me and tells me, hey, this is what's going on. Kind of like, hey, do you still want me to pick you up? And I said, no, don't worry about it. Go handle that. We can regroup later. So I'm going downstairs to like the hotel lobby, and the new girl comes to the hotel. We like, kind of try to work from there. She gets to the lobby and kind of like she's like white, and she has like these big eyes, and I'm like, what is going on? Like all I know is like cops in the building. And I'm like, it has to be a mistake, you know? Right. And so she has like these big eyes, and I'm like, what is going on? And she tells me, so this other person that called my boss, she told me that they're in unmarked cars, and they're in some khakis, and I'm like, my eyes are just getting bigger. Like, I already know. I'm like, and then I was like, so like, what did it say? And I'm like trying not to like jump to conclusions. And she's like, I don't know. And I'm like, those are the feds. Like that unmarked car, right. Like, you know, the gear, like that's the feds.
The heavy hitters.
Yeah. So then she also says that they were taking things out of the office.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So they were being raided. The company was being raided.
Wow.
So we're downstairs. I'm waiting. Like in this moment, and I'll go into it right now as to like why this translated, like why this happened. But we were downstairs, and I was trying to work, and the state where everything hit the fan, those clients were calling me, and they were saying, hey, like they're coming to the establishment, like the feds, like in this moment, like I wasn't sure like who it was, what's going on, who, what, when, like nothing. And they like, I'm getting calls like back to back, like hang up with one, pick up another, hang up. And they're telling me like, hey, the feds are here to come pick up the thing. And I'm like, all right. Yeah. So just, cooperate with them. I'm sure this is a misunderstanding. And like, okay, bye. And then I'm like, as soon as I know update, I'll let you know. And then like next call. And like, it was the same. And I call my boss, she's not picking up. And I'm like, hey, I need to know something. I need to know what is going on. Like, don't give me too much detail, but just something so I can tell them, because they are blowing up my phone and this is not good for business. Mm-hmm. And so then I don't hear anything back. And she texts me like maybe 2 hours later, and she's like, hey, are you still at the hotel? Yes. Go home. And I'm like, getting my stuff, like, oh no, like, I'm not about to get dragged into this mess. Like, I get all my stuff. I call United. Hey, I need to get home today. And I get out of there as fast as I can.
Damn it.
Yeah.
Damn it. That's wild.
It's wild. So basically, I was in the industry of, it was like the fintech and ATM/crypto.
Okay.
It's like a little bit of, exchange, currency exchange. And we had almost 3,000 locations, and we were projected to be one of the biggest.
Right.
Like one of the biggest in the industry. And this is a fairly new industry.
Right.
Since, yeah. And so when all of this happened, everything just collapsed. Literally. It was like day after day. Like that week I got home and I'm like, oh my gosh, like kissing the floor, like I'm home. I don't have to deal with anything. And so then after that, like they kind of said like, hey, we're shut down operations. We can't continue operations, and it leads to like, hey, y'all gotta find a new job. And there were 3 individuals who were detained, and it's like an ongoing.
Yeah.
It's an ongoing thing.
So you're kind of like in between right now.
Yeah.
Well, you just lost something, right? So like, how long ago did that happen? Well, you know what? Don't say that, because then it may trace back to whoever you're talking to, and I don't want you to get in trouble in any kind of way.
Oh, no, I mean, everything's
open
public.
road does not get people in trouble in any kind of way.
It's public, so.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It sucks. Like, it's like you put so much into, like.
A company,
yeah.
Remember, it's their company.
Yeah, to a company. And
that's not yours.
It's not yours. Yeah, it's a constant reminder every single day.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially after that happened. Mm-hmm. But you kind of, I was so disappointed, like so disappointed, because I was really close with like my boss, and I'm like, this company's about to go places, and I'm proud to be part of something that, keep in mind, hence I had no idea what was going on.
Right.
So basically they were indicted with like a bunch of charges, and everything happened in like the state of Ohio. So basically in this industry or any kind of like exchange, you have to get licensed. You have to get licensed in order to do those money transmissions in those individual states, and you have to go state by state by state, and each have like their own regulations, their own everything, like process. And so this specific state, basically, they cut corners. They were, falsifying records, lying about. Yeah, it was intense, and it sucks because no one else knew what was going on.
Wow. And
we were all just like, it was like heartbreaking, really.
Yeah. So like, you've put out some resumes, I imagine.
Yeah.
Is it hard with like?
Yeah.
The job.
Yeah,
stuff right now.
It is, yeah. Especially I was working remote at that job. And so, ideally you want to work another remote job. Mm-hmm. And yeah, it's tough.
What interests you? Kind of, if someone said, hey, you know what? We're hiring you today. What job do you think you'd want to do?
Well, a lot of what I was doing is like business development. So for the company, I come from basically like 2 startups. So this was a startup, like it was like 2015. And then what I worked for like previous to that was also a startup. And when you are working in a startup, you wear many hats. Like you have to kind of overextend yourself, be okay with it, be a team player. And so in this company, I played a lot of roles. I, we had like leases, we had to do renewals. Like I ran like all that, like client retention, and then the sales, and then also on top of that, basically where the direction like of the company should go.
Oh, okay.
So I was part of that forefront, that kind of voice, like, hey, you know, like, well, per my experience, the data, like everything that's going on in these regions, like I suggest like we take this direction, put this many more, do this, do that. And so I wear a lot of hats.
Yeah.
And so I really, really enjoy, like, coming from 2 startups, I really enjoy kind of like getting my hands dirty. The process of building something and seeing the potential and getting it to that potential plus more.
Yeah. It's like this podcast.
Yeah, exactly.
You're seeing it from the fucking, this is it. Like, it don't get no worse, like, bottom than this, right? Yeah. But there's only one way we can go, and that's up.
Yeah.
Right. So I see you're a hard worker, definitely a team player, right? Like, so.
Competitive. But I am a team player.
There you go. Yeah, exactly. So there's no doubt in my mind that what you offer is going to be good for anybody looking for, like, someone to come work for them. But, you know, don't lose track of what makes you happy too, right?
Yeah, of course.
Like, have good hobbies.
Yeah.
You're young, you know.
Yeah, I'm really taking advantage of this time right now. Right. Like, trying to explore other things. And now that I have the time, like, you work for so long and then you're like, oh my God, like, what am I going to do now?
So I feel like people get into that rut. And I know they say, like, in your 20s, it's time to work. It's a time to get down and get it. And that's true.
Yeah.
Like, I'm reaping what I sow at this point. Is that how you say it?
Yeah, you reap what you sow.
Yeah. So I'm already doing it, like, at this point, because I am chill. I don't have to go put in 80 hours a week no more. I don't have to. Like, I get my little thing coming on every month. I do my little things on the side, whatever I can hustle up. But I worked my ass off in my 20s, right? And I sacrificed a lot of stuff. So, yeah, but just don't lose sight of the things that are important in your life. Now, I get it. People do the thing where, like, I'm going to excel my career. But I think you're young enough where what I don't want to see is that you're like 40, an established woman, but, like, that's it. You worried about your career more than anything.
Yeah, no, I've always been, like, deep rooted, like, in my mind that I do want to be, you know, self-employed and have, like, multiple streams of income. So, like, I honestly do feel as if, like, a corporate job, like, it all depends who you are and how you view it. Because for some people it may work and that's completely fine. But for a lot of other people who have, like, you know, I think outside of the box and I go, like, different directions. So basically a corporate job could kind of feel like a shackle, like, you know, a shackle and a ball. Right.
Just keep that ever present in your mind because you're a good age, dude. Like, you got the world in front of you. Like, me, I've already conquered it, right?
You're still young. That's what I can't stand. Like, people hit, like, they're, like, almost over the hill. I'm old.
I feel old. But, you know, I think I'm probably more, like, in touch with my creative me, the inner child me. Like, that's good. Like the inner child. Yeah. You've heard, like.
Yeah, you got to heal your inner child.
Right. And then once you heal it, you can revisit him or her, right, in your instance. So I can revisit mine, and I get to be that child again when I'm playing with my kids. Yeah. I've bought back my time. So I have time now. I don't have a bunch of money, but I have time.
Time is of essence.
Right. Give me a second. What's happening, Carla? No, don't switch it from there. It'll mess up. It died? Okay. I see what you're saying. I'm sorry, we're having some technical difficulties, but we do this shit raw. We're not going to cut this out. Just so you know, we're doing everything we can with the equipment we have. We're going to get better cameras and better stuff, but it's life. We're gonna. She's back. Switch the camera to her just to make sure she's there. Well, we kept the audio. We kept everything. You know what? That's what we'll do from now on, Janie. I got you. When that camera goes down, you put it back on me. You know, I'm going to recover it because it's what I do, girl. Where was I?
Hey, where was I? I was
trying to say, keep rolling. I got this.
Yeah, no, I got you. What were we saying?
What were you saying? Well, I feel like you were saying something.
Yeah, I probably was saying all kinds of shit. Oh.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, so it's like we come in, something happens, and we get out of that bubble that I'm telling you about, right? Like you lose that magic, right? So like my inner child, like I can connect that way with my kids. And you have any kids?
No.
Good. Don't have them yet. But they're amazing. They're like really good people. Like they're my little people. And I feel like because I've healed like my inner child, all that, I'm a way better person to them. Like way more patient.
You can show up for them.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm just so patient. Like it's so amazing to break down their day, like with them after school, and like, cause you can, hey, how was your day? It was good. It was bad, right? Like the general answer. But instead of doing that, I'll be like, hey, what you eat for breakfast? Like, so I try to start them at the beginning of the day and try to get those questions rolling. We're like, oh, Poppy, we had this and that and the other. I was like, oh, okay, cool. What about lunch? Like, today's Wednesday, right? Like, I had pizza day. Oh, yeah, we had pizza, this and this. You want to know what my teacher told me? She told me this when we're, So that's how I get them to kind of open up more. Because if I do like a general question to my kids, it doesn't get them or me anywhere.
Yeah,
it's just true. It's bullshit. Yeah. Like you're just there with your kid. Like some people just watch them. They don't fucking interact with them. They don't play with them. They're just yelling at them and being mad at them for like being fucking kids and like that. It fucking kills me, right? Like you're gonna have these kids, man. Like do something with it, right? Like be right with them. So that's like a big thing for me. Like I don't just watch my girls. Like I interact with them every little time that I can, and then like it pays off to me. Like it's so amazing. So when you can get some kids, reward. Right? My reward is them. They are my reward. They're the reason I'm alive today. Like guarantee it.
That's awesome.
It's but and I think that's the only like subject I'll get like emotional with my kids, because like I don't think I've ever loved anyone like unconditionally. Like
really,
maybe my mom, my dad, but those are my parents, right? So like it's normal. My brothers, right? Family. Like I don't think even with them I knew what unconditional love was, right? Like where my mom or dad would piss me off and I wouldn't talk to them for a couple of days, right? Like I can't do that with them. Like they can never make me mad. They can never piss me off. I could never look at them and be like, why'd you do that? Like, but I feel like if I lived my life in a faster pace where I was go, and I don't account for them to have mistakes or they're going to spill something. Like I know I have kids. I should have them up. I should have everything that I need in case they spill something because they're real little. So like it's being prepared so that you don't get mad, so you don't lose it, right? So you're like, you expect it to happen and you talk to them like, hey, this is how the cup works. This is a sippy cup. Always check it. I tell them these things that like, I don't know if other parents do that or not, but I do it with mine.
Yeah.
And like it
you have
pays
to explain things to them. Yeah. Yeah, that's a big thing. Like kids are, I always see kids like a sponge. Like they absorb everything. So whatever you feed them, like whether it's negative, positive, like they're going to absorb all of that. And it's going to have a lot to do with who they are when they're older. So
like habits.
Yeah, definitely.
So I think one of the most, so I'm going to let you in on some stuff that I call silent wins. That's when your kid, and I like to leave my silent wins for my kids, right? So a silent win for me is when my daughters do something without me telling them to do it based on something that I would have told them to do it that way, right? Like, because they're already thinking like, Papi, if you've already raised them that way, they do it. For example, I'm chilling out here and I'm doing my regular day, whatever. I think I'm doing dishes. And like, Sassy, my little one, can't open a bottle of water or whatever she was opening. She tells Gami, can you open the bottle of water for me? Or whatever it was. They were opening something. And I heard a thank you from the little one to the older one. And then the older one tells the little one, don't worry about it. I always got you. And I was like, damn it. Like,
like let's hear it.
Right.
Like the emoji. Like
right. If that's not a silent one, I don't know what is, right? Like one said thank you to the other one told you I got you no matter what.
They learned that from you.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I hope they do. I mean, that's what I try to teach them. So I try to be that type of dad, and I love it because, like, I don't get any restrictions from the ex-wife. Like, there's no drama. There's none.
That's good.
50-50 custody. You got them when you got them. I got them when I got them. There's none of this like same thing. Like if it's my weekend or something and they have a birthday party to go to and it's like on the mom's side, go with your mom. Go to the birthday party, right? Like you're going to go have fun. You know, maybe I don't have anything planned that Saturday and all I'm going to do is like try to take them to the park or whatever, you know, like, but they have an actual birthday party to go to on the other side of the family. Okay, yeah. I mean, why should there be? No, it's my weekend and my kids.
Yeah.
Like, and she's the same way with me. Boom. Yeah. Hey, you know, I've had them double weekends in a row. Like, she's had them double weekends in a row. Like, but we understand if there's something going on, what's the best thing for them?
Yeah.
And man, like my kids are my world. I could talk about them for hours, right? I'm sure everybody could.
Yeah.
But I guess we're gonna have to wrap this up. It's been so good to talk to you, dude. Like,
yeah, for sure. You too.
It's awesome. Like,
I feel like we can talk about it a lot more.
Right? Yeah, no, we could probably keep going.
Yeah.
We probably are once, you know, try to upload the video and all that.
me.
Like last night with Exotti and them. It's just Exotti and us.
Same people.
Right. Like who the fuck?
Like it's a whole
like
production
the entourage.
team.
Hey, one day, baby, one day.
You gotta manifest it.
Yeah, we're hell yeah. You got a job with me, girl. It's been a pleasure to have you. I feel like the conversation went well. I liked it.
Thanks.
Badass.
Yeah.
If somebody wants to follow you, do you want to be followed? Not like a stalker type of follow, but like on Instagram or like Facebook.
I prefer not.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Badass. I like that. You don't really see that
I
nowadays.
like to stay.
Yeah, I like that. That's badass.
Yeah.
All right, so don't follow her. Just follow Open Road. That's the way to do it. And that's going to do it for today. So we'll catch you guys in the next video. Appreciate it.
Thank you.